Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I'm John Burt. Thank you for joining me today. And I don't know if you noticed last week, it was a hot one. I've been building a deck and working on outside a little bit. And I'll tell you, I got done at 1 o'clock. I'm getting old enough where I don't want to work in this heat. But I got an exciting show. I got a couple videos, and they're fairly not long, but one's about 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and I hope you stay tuned for those. And the last video is about the Dallas police, and I want to talk a little bit about that toward the end of the show. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that. There's a video with President Bush and President Obama speaking at the funerals, or a memorial down there, and it's just a sad situation. But I want to talk about that in a little bit. But first, what I want to bring up, I went to the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance dinner probably a couple weeks ago as this is being aired. I sat there, and all of a sudden they started talking about perfect score with the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. There's a bunch of groups that, education, the House Republican Alliance, American for Prosperity, which by the way I got an A, a whole bunch of, in House Republican Alliance I think I got a 97 if I remember right. But as you know, I think I've mentioned it before, the last 6 years that I've been your state representative, I have perfect attendance in the House. Now, I have missed a couple committee meetings. I don't expect anybody to get perfect attendance. It's not easy to do. But I've been fortunate health-wise. My wife hasn't been sick, because I'll tell you, if my wife really needed me, and I believe in this. We have 400 reps, and if a few reps are missing because their family needs them or a death or something like that, I've just been fortunate the last 6 years. So they mentioned that for the perfect score at the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. And like I said, they keep score on us on liberty issues. And all of a sudden they started talking, and I'll be showing you the video in a minute. The person doing the introduction to the video, or to the, I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say, the moderator of the show, he started talking, and I'm going, I know it isn't me. But then all of a sudden, and he introduces, the introduction is 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and then I come on. All of a sudden, at minute 2:40, he says, "The Honorable John Burt, please come up." And this is what I received, is this plaque here. And I'm going to put it up on the screen in the back. And what it is its perfect voting record of the 2016 Liberty Raid-In. What surprised me, I was the only rep to receive it. Last year there were 7 of us. And again, I received perfect attendance back then and a perfect score with the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. And what they only rate on is Liberty-issued bills. Saying this is a freedom bill, it's property or whatever it is, they want the reps to vote yes on it, or no if it's a bad bill. And like I said in the video that you're going to be watching, I'm glad that they voted the same way I did. Because I tell everybody, the way I vote is the right way to vote at the New Hampshire House. So it's just really funny that, and you're going to hear the crowds. There was quite a few people there. I can't remember how many. It was almost a couple hundred. And, I'm just overwhelmed. The biggest thing I want to do is, and I wished I did it there, I really was speechless. And you're going to see that in the video. And it's about 3 minutes in, you'll hear me. When I'm standing there, I'm thinking, oh my God, I was just overwhelmed, really almost emotional too. I'm just sitting there, and I wished I thanked my wife. So I'm thanking her now. I could not be a state representative for you if it was not for my beautiful wife. I am one of the most blessed men in the world to have her. I know it. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and thank you, Phyllis. And I love you, honey. She's just a great woman. So let me play this video for you. And like I said, about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in is when I come on. And you're going to want to watch the beginning of when I come on. And the guy that does the introduction here is really good. So you really should watch the whole thing if you can. Here you are. I'm going to start it right now.
So I'm up here today, right now, to talk about the award for the perfect voting record. For the award for the perfect voting record. Now, as a lot of people know who've been here before, we give awards for perfect voting records, we give awards for Legislator of the Year. And right now, I'm talking about just the person who basically did the best at matching the votes that we put out in the gold standard each week. In 1765, Sam Adams and the Sons of Liberty, they were at the Green Dragon Tavern in Boston, and they kind of hatched some ideas that ended up leading to the American Revolution. And last year in Nashua, Paul and I and a couple other people were talking about the way we do the ratings for candidates, the NHLA, and decided we wanted to make a change to the way we've done Liberty rating. So we've been doing Liberty ratings since 2004, and based upon primarily or only the voting that the reps do. But the problem is what we saw sometimes happen was that there were reps who would introduce some pretty bad bills, but vote pretty well, at least in the votes where there were roll call votes, and they could actually do pretty well in the Liberty rating. So that was seen as somewhat of a problem. You also would see reps who would actually submit a lot of really good legislation, do a lot of hard work before the voting happened to actually research the law, decide what needed to happen, and they weren't really getting the credit they deserved for the work they did in sponsoring good legislation. So this year's Liberty rating, we decided to make a change. We still use the voting. The voting actually matters quite a bit because that's what passes legislation and makes it fail. But we added a sponsorship modifier that adds the Liberty score either up or down, depending on whether or not you sponsored or co-sponsored pro-Liberty or anti-Liberty legislation. So with that said, what I'm going to talk about now is the person who had the best voting score only. And that's not going to leak any information about who might be the Legislator of the Year, since this is really just based upon votes at this point. The person who got the perfect score this year, it's actually, it's pretty hard to get a perfect score. First of all, there's a lot of bills, but if you're out sick one day or you have another thing that's going on in your life that matters, even the best legislators miss votes. This person didn't miss any votes. In 2014, there were no people who actually got a perfect score. In 2015, of the 50 scored votes, there were 7 reps with perfect scores. This year we had 98 scored votes and only 1 rep with a perfect voting score, and he actually had the 3rd highest grade overall. So this year there was only 1. There can be only 1. So I called the podium the Highlander, the Honorable Mr. John Burt. You're the only ones that can say a couple words.
I'm speechless. Yes, my wife will say that's the first time. Yeah. I don't know how to say thank you. I'm just... Yeah, whenever I go to the podium, I don't know if you've ever seen it, I am noticed for this. And it was funny because at the end of the year, there was other reps that were trying to copy me. And whenever I go up there, I always say, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so it's just funny when I saw the reps going up going, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And even the speaker chimed in once and said, no, you got to do better than that. I'm just beyond words here that, I'm the only one that got the perfect score. I just can't believe it. I guess I'm very happy that the NHLA agreed with the way I vote. because really, the paper they give me every Wednesday really helps, because I look at it, and just like the HRA, the House Republican Alliance, I look at that paper. Leadership gives that white paper. I never pick that thing up.
I've never seen one.
Yeah. And it's just incredible the work that they must do to put this on. You know, every week, you know, Paul's up there passing these papers out, and it's a lot of work. And now, I don't know if Eileen's here this year. Oh, she's not. Well, I did miss Eileen this year because she gave great hugs. And I'll be honest, you know, there's times I need a hug before I go in there. But again, I just want to thank everybody. This is a huge honor for me to get this. And you know, last year I got perfect attendance, or perfect score, and I've been there 6 years. I got perfect attendance. I've been there for every vote, and I am doing one more term, and I do have to get done. Thank you.
Seamus, John, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. I feel like they represent all the hard work that so many people in this room and folks that couldn't make it have done here for the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, for liberty in New Hampshire.
Well, what'd you think about the video? You know, again, it was just overwhelming. You know, everything that happened that night. I just never thought I was going to get, and especially to be the only one to get perfect score with the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. And again, I do thank everybody that has helped in that effort, because it is a lot of work that they put on to advise the representatives, you know, this is the right way to vote. And as I said, you know, I'm glad that they agreed with the way I vote, because apparently they did, because I should give them a certificate. And I don't know if you liked the part where when I said about Eileen, you know, and I think I posted a few pictures of her, and she's a very beautiful lady. And every now and then I'd go in, and, you know, when she used to pass out the gold sheet, and I'd say, you know, it's scary in there, Eileen. I need a hug. And she'd give me a nice big hug. And it was just so funny. And so this year it was Paul. And every now and then Paul will say, John, I'll give you a hug. And, you know, it was just funny. Oh, and I do want to thank Bill Allman. And he is with the Adventures. It's his blog that he does, adventuresinthefreestate.com. So make sure if you see Bill, thank him for that video that he did for us. Again, it was just overwhelming, and I really appreciate what they did for me, introducing me and all that, and letting me speak. Now, I do want to talk about the sad situation down in Texas. It was, you know, as you know, probably as this being aired, you know, a couple weeks, you know, could be even longer, with those 5 officers being killed, you know, by the sniper. You know, I just look at that and I just think to myself, you know, that, you know, I can't imagine what the families and the whole community must be going through. You know, pretty sad down there. But the next video that I'm going to show you in a couple minutes, it just shows the difference between President Bush and President Obama. And let me see who did those videos. Oh yeah, I want to thank, I don't know who the group is, it's youngcons.com. They're the ones that put this video together, and I do want to thank them for, you know, letting me air it here. But when President Bush talked, you know, what kind of I looked at was everything he said was from the heart. You know, right here, Bush said, their courage, and he's talking about the policemen, their courage is our protection. And then he also says, he talked about, you know, if somebody broke into my house, I'm going to do everything I can, and I mean that, to protect my wife. All means, whatever it takes to protect my wife, I'm going to do it. President Bush said, and you'll see it in the video, the police do it every day for strangers. And what was sad, and of course, you know, they're taking sound bites, this youngcons.com. Yes, that's what it is. They're taking sound bites from this memorial, and I'm sure that, you know, they thank President Bush at the end, so it's definitely slanted against President Obama. But President Obama said these things. He talked about bigotry, racist. You know, even our vice president says that there's a hatred from the police department to blacks. And I'm like, you know, we got to stop this. Now, you know, do I think the police need to change just a few small things to get better relations with America? Yes. But I think most of us do support them, and I'm one. I support the police. It's just sad to see our own president and our vice president speak like this when they should be bringing us together. And, you know, that's what I'm saying is when you see the video, you know, you're going to be surprised on the differences between President Bush and President Obama. And again, I'm sure they slanted it, you know, against President Obama. So, you know, but bottom line, he said these things. It just disturbs me, you know, that he has to go down, you know, President Obama has to go down this racist path to divide us, where President Bush goes down the other path and just says their courage, the police courage, is our protection. And you know what? He's right. And when he said that the police will go protect strangers, and that's what they were doing. These police didn't know any of these people there, and they were there protecting them. And I just go, you know, he's right. And here's this nutcase sniper just starts shooting them. You know, it's a tragedy down there, and you know, I hope we don't repeat it. So let's hope we get a new president that's gonna, in November, that's gonna do something different to bring better relations to America, but for all groups, and that's what I'm hoping for. And I'll tell you, it's not Hillary in my eyes. You know, like I said, I voted for Cruz. I'm gonna jump on the Trump wagon here, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that he's going to do the right thing, because that's who we need right now. But anyways, please watch the video, and until next week, I want to thank you for watching, and you know, God bless everybody. And again, thank you, New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, with this. It was quite an honor. And make sure you stay tuned for the video. It's only about 4 minutes and 7 seconds long. I'll see you next week. Bye now. Take care.
Today the nation grieves, but those of us who love Dallas and call it home have had 5 deaths in the family. Laura and I see members of law enforcement every day. We count them as our friends. And we know, like for every other American, that their courage is our protection and shield. We're proud of the men we mourn and the community that has rallied to honor them and support the wounded. Our mayor and police chief and our police department have been mighty inspirations for the rest of the nation.
We also know that centuries of racial discrimination, of slavery and subjugation and Jim Crow, they didn't simply vanish with the end of lawful segregation. They didn't just stop when Dr. King made a speech or the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were signed.
With their deaths, we have lost so much. We are grief-stricken, heartbroken, and forever grateful.
But America, we know that bias remains. We know it. Whether you are black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or of Middle Eastern descent, we have all seen this bigotry in our own lives at some point.
Every officer has accepted a calling that sets them apart. Most of us imagine if the moment called for that we would risk our lives to protect a spouse or a child. Those wearing the uniform assume that risk for the safety of strangers. They and their families share the unspoken knowledge that each new day can bring new dangers. But none of us were prepared or could be prepared for an ambush by hatred and malice. The shock of this evil still has not faded.
If we're honest, perhaps we've heard prejudice in our own heads and felt it in our own hearts. We know that. And while some suffer far more under racism's burden, some feel to a far greater extent discrimination's sting. None of us is entirely innocent. No institution is entirely immune. And that includes our police departments.
At our best, we honor the image of God we see in one another. We recognize that we are brothers and sisters, sharing the same brief moment on earth and owing each other the loyalty of our shared humanity. Your loss is unfair. We cannot explain it. We can stand beside you and share your grief. And we can pray that God will comfort you with a hope deeper than sorrow and stronger than death. May God bless you.
The pain we feel may not soon pass, but my faith tells me that they did not die in vain. I believe our sorrow can make us a better country. I believe our righteous anger can be transformed into more justice and more peace. Weeping may endure for a night, but I'm convinced joy comes in the morning.
Grampy